Anyway, we'll wait for you to join. So Sunki is recording, so we can start. So one of you has to read the para first in this process. So normally it is Pallavi, Dave, Tuesday.
Shall I read, Rangada?
Yes, please. In this process. What
In
the
this process,
after we have finished it.
in this process and at an early stage of it, it becomes evident that what we know of ourselves, our present conscious existence, is only a representative formation, a superficial activity, a changing external result of a vast mass of concealed existence. Our visible life and the actions of that life are no more than a series of significant expressions, but that which it tries to express is not on the surface. Our existence is something much larger than this apparent frontal being, which we suppose ourselves to be and which we offer to the world around us. This frontal and external being is a confused amalgam of mind formations, life movements, physical functionings, of which even an exhaustive analysis into its component parts and machinery fails to reveal the whole secret. It is only when we go behind, below, above, into the hidden stretches of our being that we can know it. The most thorough and acute surface scrutiny and manipulation cannot give us the true understanding or the completely effective control of our life, its purposes, its activities. That inability indeed is the cause of the failure of reason, morality, and every other surface action to control and deliver and perfect the life of the human race. For below even our most obscure physical consciousness is a subconscious being in which, as in a covering supporting soil, are all manner of hidden seeds that sprout up unaccountably to us on our surface and into which we are constantly throwing fresh seeds that prolong our past and will influence our future. A subconscious being, obscure, small in its motions, capriciously and almost fantastically sub-rational, but most of an immense potency for the earth life. Again, behind our mind, our life, our conscious physical, there is a larger subliminal consciousness. There are inner mental, inner vital, inner more subtle physical reaches supported by an inmost psychic existence, which is the animating soul of all the rest. And in these hidden reaches too lie a mass of numerous pre-existent personalities which supply the material, the motive forces, the impulsions of our developing surface existence. For in each one of us here, there may be one central person, but also a multitude of subordinate personalities created by the past history of its manifestation or by expression of it on these inner planes which support its present play in this external material cosmos. And while on our surface we are cut off from all around us except through an exterior mind and sense contact, there is some disturbance, no, the Rangada?
I don't know where the disturbance is coming. Okay, Ashanti has muted herself. Okay, the sound is not there now.
And while on us,
yeah,
now
dispensary.
it's clear.
Dispensary, there's so many people coming, going, all sorts of noises are there. Okay, go ahead. And
while on us, yes, while on our surface we are cut off from all around us except through an exterior mind and sense contact, which delivers but little of us to our world or of our world to us. In these inner reaches, the barrier between us and the rest of existence is thin and easily broken. There we can feel at once, not merely infer from their results, but feel directly the action of the secret world forces, mind forces, life forces, subtle physical forces that constitute universal and individual existence. We shall even be able if we will but train ourselves to it, to lay our hands on these world forces that throw themselves on us or surround us, and more to control or at least strongly modify their action on us and others, their formations, their very movements. Yet again, above our human mind are still greater reaches superconscient to it, and from there secretly descend influences, powers, touches, which are the original determinants of things here, and if they were called down in their fullness, could altogether alter the whole make and economy of life in the material universe. It is all this latent experience and knowledge that the divine force working upon us by our opening to it in the integral yoga, progressively reveals to us, uses and works out the consequences as means and steps towards the transformation of our whole being and nature. Our life is thenceforth no longer a little rolling wave on the surface, but interpenetrant, if not coincident with the cosmic life. Our spirit, our life rises not only into an inner destiny, inner identity with some wide cosmic self, but into some contact with that which is beyond, though aware of and dominant over the action of the universe.
Very big para, and he is telling you what you are on the surface and what you really are deep inside yourself. And the deep inside yourself is told very clearly something below, something inside, something above, and something all around. Okay, so this, remember one thing, you are really a condensation of the cosmos, and the cosmos is a expansion, a diluted expansion of what you are. Okay, is the same. And what is that? What is the cosmos and what is you? Satchidananda, in essence. Okay, but covered up with many layers. So this is what he is explaining to us, and he is explaining in a very, very precise language. So we'll have a look at what he's saying. Okay. Big paragraph. In this process, so what is this process? I'll just quickly go through the previous, summarize the previous paragraph. Okay. Now, here we are. So, in the previous para, he said, as the equality and the psychic presence increase, that towards which our efforts are directed starts to reveal itself by descending into the outer nature. The outer nature is your body, mind, life. Okay, that divine consciousness brings with it height, intimacy, vastness of its presence. It also reveals to the individual soul the future path that is intended to tread. So you come to know even what your destiny is and how you have to move. Even before equality is well established and the psychic presence is incomplete, the revelation can come to souls which are ready for the spiritual path. The separating lid between the upper and the lower hemispheres is rent open by a psychic call, oppressed by the sordid circumstances of the world. So the psychic is very much discouraged by the dirt of the physical world, sordid circumstances, and it calls for a release. It calls for a solution. And the psychic call rends the veil between the upper level 1 and level 2. Okay, the spiritual planes of consciousness and the normal planes of consciousness. The lid is rent, it's cut, is broken, shattered. So, how does it come? First of all, a psychic call oppressed by the sordid circumstances of the world. Secondly, a yearning for freedom. There are many people who are disgusted with their own slavery. Slavery to food, slavery to sleep, slavery to habits. So you feel disgusted and a yearning for freedom. A willed concentration of meditation that also can bring about this change. Okay? So there are so many things that can bring about the change. Willed concentration. Many people resort to meditation. They resort to meditation. A sincere longing of the heart, even that is enough. Or an intensity of will, even if it is ignorant. All these things will help you to break the lid and go into the level 2. The personal divine reveals his light, power, bliss from the infinite to the finite individual soul. There can be a sudden experience or a slower or long drawn out preparation after the initial opening. So first it is opening, after that it can be quite fast or it can be slow, depending on the individual. Even without the divine presence, there can be its leading, its compulsions, its instructions, its enlightenments. Even if you don't feel the divine, you are being guided. Okay? But there can also be long periods of total absence when personal effort seems to be the only possibility without guidance. At that time, you feel that you are not being guided. In these periods, all the impurities, wrong movements, fixed grooves of nature, habits, are raised for elimination. They come up, you must not make a mistake. They come up because they have to be eliminated. The soul in you is saying, look, this dirt is there in you, get rid of it. Okay? Obviously, this journey can be a very rough passage and a difficult process. It's a period of light and dark, hopes and rejection. The lower periods can be disastrously trying. It can be very difficult. Hostiles can attack, but God's messengers also can help. Okay? But here, that equality and psychic presence are of great importance. The psychic protects, gives confidence, eliminates dangers, and guides with sureness, openly or from behind the veil. The seeker can be quite conscious of the help, the presence. This happy acceptance of all seemingly difficult circumstances will ensure the certain victory. Finally, greater spiritual powers will take over and the body-mind life will become an instrumentation for God's work. Finally, the divine purpose intended for the individual soul will be revealed. You will know what your purpose in life is. This is what you said in the previous paragraph. So now we will read what we read today. We will go sentence by sentence. In this process of going away from ignorance to knowledge, rising from level 1 to level 2. In this process, and at an early stage of it, it becomes evident that what we know of ourselves, our present conscious existence, is only a representative formation. Now look at the two words, representative and formation. A representative is, an ambassador is a representation of your country in another country. He is not the actual authority. So your body-mind life is representative of Satchidananda. And it's a formation. And all formations are formed and then broken. So your body-mind life is a representation, number one. Secondly, it's a formation. Therefore, it can be unformed also. Okay. So it's very interesting words. You must not think of formation only as something, a fixed form. It's not fixed. Okay. Now, he gives further description. A superficial activity. When you are conscious of your body-mind life, maybe it's only you are conscious only of 5% of yourself. The rest is 95% is all hidden. Hidden where? Below, inside, above, and around. Okay. Here's one word for each of these. Our visible life and the actions of that life. And which is that life? Only your body, your vital, and your mind are no more than a series of significant expressions. They are only, again now, they are expressions only, but they are indicative. They are not absolutely useless. Whatever you are doing, they're significant because what you are doing and what you are thinking and all has an effect. Therefore, it is significant. It is not absolutely insignificant. That's what Shraddha said. But that which it tries to express is not on the surface. It is trying to express the body-mind life is a formation and a representation. And it's trying to express the divine within itself. Okay? Sometimes it can be the self, and sometimes it can be also the psychic being. The body, mind, life is trying to express that. But that which it tries to express is not on the surface. Deep inside and above, our existence is something much larger than this apparent frontal being. So the frontal being is only apparent. Again, you're using the word to show you that it is not the real thing. Okay. Apparent frontal being, which we suppose ourselves to be, and which we offer to the world around us. This is what I am. Others know you only by your body, mind, life, not your soul. That's what he's saying. This frontal and external being, and what is it? He explained now what it is a confused amalgam of mind formations, life movements, physical formations, physical functionings, of which even an exhaustive analysis and its component parts and machinery fails to reveal the whole secret. A very interesting sentence, let's have a look at it very carefully. This frontal and external being, what is that? Mind, life, body. And he is describing each mind formations. So he is using the word formations for the mind. He is saying life movements and physical functionings. Very interesting. Look at it carefully. He is so accurate. First of all, the mind is having thoughts. And what are the thoughts? Your mind is taking the mental substance and making formations. Okay? That's why every thought is a formation. It's got a form. Okay. I'll explain in what they say in Indian philosophy, and then you'll understand. Don't think that your body is only substance. Your vital also is a substance, which is slightly subtler. Your mind is even subtler substance. So when you want to understand something, suppose you are thinking of a mountain. The mental substance takes the form of a mountain. That's a formation. Then you say, now I've understood. When you are not able to make the formation with your thought substance, then you cannot understand. You say, I have not understood. Okay? So it's a confused amalgam, a mixture of mind formations. The mind is making forms out of its substance. Life movements. Life is in movement all the time. He is not using the word formation. It's a movement. It is all your actions are only movements. And physical functionings. Your liver is functioning, your heart is functioning, your kidneys are functioning. So the physical is absolutely the most mechanical machine. Physical functionings. See the description. And this whole thing is confused. Confused. Mind is getting confused with vital. Vital and body also are getting confused. You don't know the thing. And the confusion is very interesting. Suppose you are upset. Okay. Emotionally, you are upset with something. It will have a physical effect. It will have. Suppose you have, it can have a physical effect. For instance, if you are upset, as I said, you may have a loose motion. It's not unusual. It can happen. Or when you are very angry, your whole body will start shaking. Okay, I have seen people do that. So it has the vital and the body are connected. The vital and the mind also are connected. Even the mind and the body are also connected. So connected that it's a mixed confusion. That's what Shendra is saying. We can't distinguish between the three. It is only when we go behind, below, above, into the hidden stretches of our being, that we can know it. So now he's telling you that there's something below you, there's something inside you, and there is something above you. And he has got words to explain. He has got words for all this. The below is the subconscious. And below the subconscious is the inconscient. That's a foundation. Okay. Then inside is the intraconscious, or he also calls the word subliminal. Subliminal. Below the surface, behind the surface. And something above you is a superconscious. And what is that? The whole universe. You are the whole universe in a miniature form. Remember that. So only when you go deep into yourself and above yourself and below yourself, then you come to know what you really are. Otherwise, you don't know anything at all. Only 5% you know. 95% you don't know. It's only when we go behind, below, above the hidden stretches of our being that we can know it. Know what? Your true being. The most thorough and acute surface scrutiny. Uncertain. The most thorough and acute surface scrutiny and manipulation cannot give us a true understanding or a completely effective control of our life, its purposes, its activities, what you are doing, why you are doing. Sometimes you find yourself doing things which you are wondering, why am I doing this? Okay, you don't know anything at all. Now the purpose of your life. In the beginning, when you have just finished your schooling or your college or whatever, you are not sure of what you want to do. Okay, there is a good deal of confusion. Finally, slowly, things get revealed. But even then, you normally migrate into something which has come up by itself. You don't, it's not uncommon. Sometimes you have a clear understanding, yes, I want to be an engineer. Yes, I want to be a doctor. But very often it's not like that in the beginning, right in the beginning. That inability indeed is the cause of the failure of reason, morality, and every other surface action to control and deliver and perfect the life of the human race. However much you try by superficial means, you'll never be able to remove injustice, poverty also. It's very interesting. You know, in America, poverty is coming back slowly. People are homeless. They are often lying on the streets. So the perfect life of the human being. You cannot. So how can you do that? Only spiritually by going up and getting the power to do something. Now, he is describing each one. Below what is it? But very interesting description. Just have a look. But below even our most obscure physical consciousness is a subconscious being in which, as in a covering and supporting soil, are all manner of hidden seeds that sprout up unaccountably to us on our surface, and into which we are constantly throwing fresh seeds that prolong our past and will influence our future. I'll stop here because what he said is enough. We'll have to look at it. So the subconscious is like a pond into which you are throwing things all the time. And what are the things you are throwing? Your thoughts, your actions, and even your bodily desires. Sometimes there is a desire from the body also. So all these things you are throwing inside. And what you are doing now will determine what you will be the next moment. Okay. So that is what the subconscious is. It is the storehouse of all that you have been and all that you are becoming, that also. Okay. And it goes on like a bog, like a marshy land. It goes on throwing up all these things that you've thrown inside. It keeps coming up again and again, often in sleep. Okay. But also in your waking consciousness. I know one person who used to say, very interesting, suddenly a thought comes into the mind and they would say, now, for God's sake, from where did this thought come into my mind? So this is, I'm telling a real fact, it happened. So these sort of things go on happening. We are quite unconscious of from where it is the subconscious that is responsible for this. And the subconscious is very interesting. Suppose you are going from your home to the ashram or to the sea beach. Everything that is happening in the roads or there, even without your being conscious of it, is recorded in the subconscious. And it comes up afterwards. Your full attention may not be there, but it gets absorbed into your subconscious. Okay? So, constantly throwing fresh seeds that prolong our past, prolong the past. Because the past is what you're throwing now will influence your future. So it is prolonging the past and will influence our future. A subconscious being, obscure, small in its portions, capriciously and almost fantastically sub-rational. There's no reasoning in it. It's purely mechanical. It's a mechanical, unconscious action that happens. Okay? Like a bog in a marsh. Okay? all sorts of things come up. Sometimes you can see gas, and even you can see sometimes flares. Okay, methane gas comes up, and sometimes even it gets lighted also. All these things are coming up from below, but of an immense potency for Earth life. Why is he saying that? Because although your imperfections have been recorded and are bothering you and delaying your progress, there are also things which you have done good, and that is also recorded in the subconscious and it helps you. So, but of an immense potency for Earth life, because all that has happened is retained in the subconscious. There is an individual subconscious and there is also a universal subconscious. Remember that. So all the good things that have happened in the physical world, good thoughts, good feelings, good actions, they are all recorded in the subconscious. And they also come up and influence the future. So that's the immense potency for the Earth life. Okay. So you note the word immense, huh? So it's not only bad, it's also good. That is the reason why they tell you to have satsang, mix with people who have good vibrations and good thoughts and are virtuous. So at our level, that is very valid. But those things then get absorbed. They are called the vasanas. They leave a faint trace on your being. And those faint traits, they actually help you. So if you are putting in all sorts of wrong motions and wrong habits into you, they will delay your progress. But if you put the good ones, they will help. That's the function of the subconscious. Again, behind our mind, behind. Now he's talking about the inside, horizontally. First he spoke below, now he's taking behind. Behind our mind, our life, our conscious physical, there is a larger subliminal consciousness. He is using the word subliminal, but he also uses the word intra-conscious, and he also uses the word true mind, true vital, and true physical. And the true physical is the subtle physical. Okay? So this is the subliminal. There you are, inner mental, inner vital, inner more subtle physical reaches. Reaches means stretches of territory. He uses the word reaches in that sense. Okay? But don't use the word as a verb. Physical reach. A reach is a tract of land. Okay? Physical reaches. An area supported by an inmost psychic existence, which is the animating soul of all the rest. That is the one that gives you the real life. That's what it's saying. Animating. Okay? Animating is also, in the earlier SABCL, it was connecting. Now they have changed it to animating. And this is also very interesting. See the number of letters, and the thing is common in both. So sometimes when those manuscripts used to be read not very correctly. Now see the A and the C, okay, and the N. They're all common to the two words. So connecting. Earlier in SABCL it was connecting. Now it is animating. Soul of all the rest. And in these hidden reaches, too, lie a mass of numerous pre-existent personalities which supply the material, the motive forces, the impulsion of our developing surface existence. Now, very interesting description goes on. So he is telling you that there is a Manomaya Purusha, there is a Pranamaya Purusha, and there is even an Annamaya Purusha. There is a Purusha, a consciousness of the physical, there is a consciousness of the vital, and there is a consciousness of the mind. And these three are not at all always in harmony. They're all contributing to your actions and your thoughts and your bodily, the emotional thoughts, emotional feelings. Okay? So this is what is saying. Pre-existent personalities. Now the word pre-existent personality is also very interesting. Sometimes your past life personalities are also stored in essence inside yourself. And normally, all these past lives are there in you, but the one that is the present life is the most prominent, and there's no difficulty. You manage somehow. But sometimes this mechanism goes wrong, and you have the phenomenon of split personality. Your past life personalities come up and confuse you. When you don't know who you are, sometimes it can be two personalities, sometimes it can be 3. The internet says that there are people with even 27 personalities. They're all very interesting videos. You can actually see them. Okay, they become a totally different person. Okay, there's a very interesting movie. It's called The Three Faces of Eve. It's the first time that they discovered what is a split personality. There is a person who is behaving at some moment in one way and at other moments in a totally different way, unconscious of what she was in the previous moment. Okay? So that was the first time they discovered this phenomenon of split personality. So that's what Sandra is saying here. Pre-existent personality which supply the material, the motive forces, the impulsions of what? Developing surface existence. Developing surface existence, body, mind, life. And they are developing all the time. Even physically it is developing, vitally it is developing, and mentally also it is developing. For in each of us, it's a very long para. I hope we can finish it. We have got 4 or 5 minutes. We'll finish it. For in each of us here in the physical world, there may be one central person, the main character of that particular life, but also a multitude of subordinate personality created by the past history of its manifestation. In other words, your past lives. Your past lives personalities are also all there stored in your subliminal or the intraconscious by the past history of its manifestation or by expressions of it on these inner planes which support its present play in the external material cosmos. Okay? Sometimes they are deep inside and sometimes they are not so deep inside. They are even, so they use the word, expression of it on these inner planes. So the inner planes are shallower than the intraconscious because the psychic is there behind the inner planes. So you have your body, mind, life. Behind your mind, there is inner mind. Behind the inner mind, there is a subliminal. And subliminal, finally, there is a psychic being deep inside. Okay? So 3 layers. Your outer body, mind, life, your inner body, mind, life, and the subliminal inside yourself, which is the psychic being. Okay? All this is there. And all your personalities are stored there. Previous personalities. And while on our surface, they are cut off from all around us except to an exterior mind and sense contact, which delivers little of us to our world and of our world to ourselves. Even in the physical world, okay, when I am in contact with others, very superficial, only what our senses are telling us. There is no direct contact between the outside and the inside. That's what it's saying. In these inner reaches, the barrier between us and the rest of existence is thin and easily broken. In other words, when you go into your intraconscious, you can see the thoughts of others, you can feel the emotions of others, you can even sometimes even forecast the actions of others. The barrier between you and the physical world is broken. That's what Sandra is saying. It's thin and easily broken. But broken easily, but to go into the intraconscious is not so easy. Okay. There we can feel at once, not merely infer from the results, but feel directly the action of the secret world forces, mind forces, life forces, subtle physical forces that constitute the universal and individual existence. In other words, there are impersonal forces in the universe which you become aware of, and the individual thoughts and individual feelings of others also, you have access to it. You can understand, even before they speak or they act. We shall even be able, if we will but train ourselves to it, to lay our hands on these world forces that throw themselves on us or surround us, and more to control or at least strongly modify their action on us and others, their formations and their very movements. What Sandra is saying is, when you go into your interconscious, power comes to use these forces. So this is occultism. Okay? So you get the power to use these world forces and even impose their will on others. That also will come. Yet again, above our human mind are still greater influences, powers, touches, which are the original determinants of things here. Now he is talking of the superconscious. He spoke of the subconscious, he spoke of the intraconscious, which is subliminal, and he is speaking also of the superconscious, the planes above, level 2 and level 3. Okay? Which, Sundar is saying, if they are called down in their fullness, would altogether alter the whole make and economy of life in the material universe. That is exactly what Sundar was trying to do. He was trying to call down these, the supermind, into the physical world, and which will completely alter the whole make and economy of life in the material universe. And they have done that work. Now it's only a question of the process. Okay? That material universe, everything will change. It will alter the whole make. It is all this latent experience and knowledge that the divine force working upon us by our opening to it in the interior yoga progressively reveals to us, uses and works out the consequences as means and steps towards the transformation of our whole being and nature. Even the outer nature also gets transformed if you can go up to the supermental. And that is why the interior yoga does not stop at level 2. It wants to go right up to level 3. Okay? Our life is thenceforth no longer a little rolling wave on the surface, but interpenetrant. Okay? It becomes one with the universe, interpenetrant, if not coincident with the cosmic life. In other words, interpenetrant, partly identifying with the cosmos. Coincident, fully participating and fully identified with the cosmos. Our spirit, our self rises not only into an inner identity with some wide cosmic self, but some contact with it which is beyond even the interconscious, that means the spiritual planes of consciousness, though aware of and dominant over the action of the universe. So there you are. Big para explaining that we are only conscious of our body, mind, life, whereas we should be conscious of what is below us, which is inside us, and which is above us. He has not even spoken about the what is around us. Okay? To a certain extent he has, because he's saying contact with the outer life. He has said that. So, 838. And we have finished a 2-page para with great description and with so many different things he has told us. So we stop here today. Obviously, it's time and also very interesting discussion we have. So, au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Au revoir, Agada. Bonne journée. Merci beaucoup.